Good morning, everyone. I am so glad that you're here. Oops, this is not exactly how I wanted this. I wanted it like this. So I'm Leslie Flowers, and welcome to the Think and Grow Rich experience, Oration, Saga, and Song. And you saw the opening short intro. That was my first. So come on in and introduce yourself, say hello, where you're calling from. We've got 50 minutes that are jam-packed today, and the subject is imagination. Good morning, Erin. So glad you're here, calling in from Calgary or somewhere in Canada for sure. Thank you for being here. And as you all come in, I'm going to sing you a song because this is Oration, Saga, and Song, and I've picked songs from a while back because I don't want us to forget what our mothers and fathers and grandmothers and grandfathers listened to. It was a quieter time. So welcome. It should start any minute here. There we go. Hope you're having a great Friday. Oh, I'm so glad. Hey. So glad. I am too. I'm in a little trouble. I think maybe it's good trouble. I might need some help here. If I loved you time and again, I would try to say all I'd want you to know. If I loved you, words wouldn't come in an easy way. Round in circles I go, longing to tell you, but afraid and shy. I'd let my golden chances pass me by. Soon you'd leave me, off you would go in the mist of day. Never, never to know I loved you. If I loved you. Little interlude here. Soon you'd leave me, off you would go in the mist of day. Never, never to know how I loved you. If I loved you. Hello, everyone. Gosh, that was a fun one for me. Let me just get this set up for later. So glad you're here. Look at all the wonderful people that are here. Well, it's just 3. Well, then there's people watching too. I assume you'll all be here soon. I'm so glad that everyone is here. We're going to have a jam-packed 50 minutes here. Erin is calling in from Canada somewhere, usually Calgary. Glad you're energized. There's Adrian. Thank you for reposting 2 times. I really am excited. And there's Nicole. Oh, yes, she's Aaron's little sister. And happy Friday to you too, Nicole. Thank you for being here. All right. In a way, this is really good. Mark is calling in from India. So glad that you're here. And Sandra is here. I'm so excited. And this gives me a little extra time, and I will do my best to catch everybody. This is my favorite. This is imagination. And it is the workshop of the mind. So home is Calgary. Okay, that's somewhere in the middle. I'm not sure. Alberta. Alberta is the province, and Banff and Lake Louise are there. And I've had the pleasure of going through that beautiful, actually, those are the two high points of Alberta. And Charles is here. Hi, Charles. So glad you're calling in. So look, it's after 10 o'clock at night there. I am so happy you're here. We got a lot to cover today. And look who is here. Ifeanyi is here. I'm so glad you're here from Nigeria. Haven't seen you in a while. Thank you, all of you, for being here. I get very excited doing this because I love giving this to you. I hope that and intend that you enjoy this time, and it brings you a lot of peace and a very high vibration of love. I do this because I care. And all of you who are here, you know you mean so much to me. Yes. And there's MD. I haven't seen you in a while. Perfect day for you to arrive. Yes. In Nigeria and Africa. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much. And there's Sharon Rose. Rosie Speaks. Hello, everybody. She says, it's so wonderful to have you here. Let's see. And we have Ashif Haji from Toronto with presence, intention, and attention. And our sweet Lisa Fevick, a registered dietitian, on break this summer from her live shows every other Tuesday afternoon. How to eat properly to waylay menopause symptoms. And I always have to laugh because it's a good thing I didn't know there were 100 when I went through it, because I had quite a few of them. Yeah, I love Banff too. Okay, so let's get into this. I'm happy you're here. Now, I mentioned I got myself into some trouble. I think it's good trouble. You know how when something happens and you work really hard to let it go, but it just is the kind of thing that you're going to have to stick your neck out to stand in the face of adversity, and how we have to pick and choose our causes. So for those of you who are close to me, I'll be reaching out because I stuck my neck out yesterday, and I might have gotten a nick or two in it. So we'll see. Hey, Cherito, hi, my friend. You are in the Philippines. I assume you're on the island of Luzon. And I don't know if you're near Olongapo, but you're going to have to tell me, because I've been there half a dozen times and love the food and the people in Philippines. Yes. Okay. Excellent. Little promo here. This is new that Sharon Rose always has for us, and she always has great comments. Okay. Today is imagination, the workshop of the mind. And let me make this big and me small for a minute so you can see. Oh gosh, I didn't want to be that small. Okay, that's better. I can't believe it's July and it has been 100 degrees for weeks here. But I'm not complaining because I love the warm weather. Okay, so this was another one this week from Carousel, which I did a lot of repertory theater and majored in drama and humanities in the 60s at San Francisco State College. And that was the number 2 drama school in the country, second only to Carnegie Tech at that time, which was on the East Coast. So in high school, I did a lot of repertory theater, these and many other musicals. I was in the chorus. I was not the lead. I would be today. we'll do an excerpt from a really interesting story about an up-and-coming preacher 100 years ago, Dr. Frank Gonzalez, who noticed that there was a lot of waste in universities and in schools of time. And he just knew that he was the one to create a curriculum and a university where people would learn by doing. I guess it's the precursor to our technical institutes. Okay. Oh, look at this. Okay. South at Northern Mindanao. Okay. Salamat. All right. Here we go. Anyway, he was really compelled, and it was all really in the chapter on imagination. It was really about definite purpose. He realized that it was his definite purpose to build this university, or this way of changing how we learn, but he had no clue. He had no clue, and he knew it would take at least $1 million, and this was 100 years ago, and he's in seminary school studying to be a preacher. Ooh, look who's here. Modu, thank you so much for being here. I love it. So it's late afternoon there, I think, maybe not quite close to sunset in Africa. So that'll be the story. I'll read you a couple of pieces about that. Then I'm going to show you how to apply and how I have applied. And I've been teaching this for some 17, excuse me. And worked with people over 65 business quarters, teaching them how not only to understand Think and Grow Rich and the principles of success, but to apply it daily or every other day, because it takes time. And not everybody is ready or willing at the same time to want to do this work. But in this instance, when you are so compelled and obsessed with something in the best way, in love with something, you don't have a clue how you're going to do it, nor do you know where the idea came from. It's like you just have this feeling that you have to be the one, right? And the reason you have to have a purpose that deep is because you're battling fears. So to do something big that you've never done before, or that you failed at before, is very scary for all of us. And that is why very few people do immense things, but we're all capable. And what is immense? Well, that brings up the law of relativity. And that's one of the things I teach, are the universal laws. Nothing has any value until you compare it to something else. And we're very busy comparing our results to other people's results. So what is large for you may not be large for me in the sense of the dream. But you don't know how to do it. Maybe you failed at it, but you've just got this burning desire to be the one, and you do not care what anybody says. You're going for it. You've all done this, especially when we were kids. Then we'll do a 3-minute focused visualization where we're going to look at developing our muscle of imagination. Now, this is an intellectual faculty, imagination, and it has 5 sisters. So there are mental or intellectual faculties that with use and practice can outweigh our fears. But remember, our fears are real. And every time we think about it again, we visualize, our cellular vibration lowers. We don't even know this is happening. But for the person who is afraid, for example, to get up on stage and speak in front of a lot of people, I mean, people say that's the number one fear. That's the fear of criticism or judgment. So you've done it when you were a kid and you were mortified, humiliated, someone laughed, I mean, like it didn't go well. And so what you internalized was, I'm not doing that again. So that's really survival when you're a kid. But the problem is now you're 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, or even 100 years old, and you're still afraid to get on the stage. Really, all that this work is about is to create faith again in your inherent ability and deservability. Just because you failed does not mean you can't do it, but you have to be compelled. So the story about Frank Gonzalez is that he's compelled. And then I'll show you the lesson in application, my personal application of imagination, and then we'll do the visualization. Okay, so look who's here. Hey, Ronald. So glad you're here. Gosh, I haven't seen you in a long time. So great reconnecting. Meet all these people here. Please, these are the people that come every Friday, pretty much. Anyone is welcome. And I'm going to quickly go over the things we've done in the first 4 weeks briefly, because Think and Grow Rich is written linearly. It is a process. It's not one of those things where you can pick this and then try this. And it actually is a process that works. I mean, it's the #2 bestseller of all times in personal development over the last 100 years, second only to the New Testament, which, by the way, all the stuff in Think and Grow Rich is in the New Testament, and it's in the Bhagavad Gita, and it's in the Quran. The cool part about Think and Grow Rich is that Napoleon Hill spent 20 years researching what it was at the behest of Andrew Carnegie that people who were wealthy, happy, and healthy, our U.S. citizens, what they were doing, everyone else failed to do. So he spent 20 years interviewing thousands, but really 500 consistently over those 20 years to have some empirical evidence, right? And proof, if you will, of these principles and how they work. But he's known as the 20th century greatest reporter, an expert on success. So he didn't really know anything, but he spent 20 years. And by the way, he wasn't paid. So what he did was took all of the principles and universal laws and everything we knew and consolidated into these principles. So it's the only place that it's right here. And it's the exact roadmap. So I've been teaching this for 17 years and pretty much doing everything I want to do. And if I don't, there's usually a reason, like I'm not ready for it, or I haven't, the universe is good to us and wants us to be successful. So sometimes when we have a big dream and we don't achieve it when we'd like to achieve it, it's Mother Universe or Father God saying, in order to enjoy this, you have some more studying to do. So 75 and no longer afraid. Love that. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Lay. Oh, God, Lay has, I could just tell you so much about her, but time is drifting away. You must get to know her. And she's up really early from the West Coast. Just get to know her. I'm so glad you're here, Lay. Thank you for coming. Yes, imagination. I like it. Imagination is the soil that brings dreams to life. That goes right along with visualization is the DNA of manifestation. Oh, good. Okay, so let's go. You've got this is what we're going to do. Oops, I got to go over here for this. Okay, so this is imagination. Workshop of the mind. Oh, well, this is messed up. Anyway. Imagination, it's the workshop of the mind for influencing the subconscious mind. That's a little jumbled up. Okay. This is the 5th step to riches, or the 5th principle. And what you need to know about imagination is that there are 2 kinds. Did you know that? They have very specific uses. So these are distinctions that you've already used and somehow know, but until we distinguish exactly what's happening, we're not clear. We're a little confused. And the confused mind doesn't like to move. But clear it up, And we're ready to roll. Let's see who just came in. Fantastic. Here is Elizabeth calling in from Rhode Island. So glad you're here. We're doing good. Let's see. So what's next after all these gurus? What's the next? Okay, it's my next book, or it's my book based on the 8 essentials of performance and achievement. I don't know. Maybe that's it. But that's a great question. It is further evolution of hybrid programs that consolidate as many views or perspectives on our mind and thinking, because no matter who you are, I believe that we can agree that human beings control exactly one thing and nothing else. And that is what we think, how frequently we think it, and how it makes us feel when we're thinking it. That's it. We can influence other people. We can influence outcomes through our studies, but we can't control anything else. So if we concentrate on our thinking in the mind and distinguishing that, then we will take action. So my Mind Over Matter Monday class at 10 a.m. is all about bringing in different disciplines about mind, so that you all get to pick and choose which ones resonate with you. Everything I do doesn't resonate with you. Everything Sandra will do next Monday on NLP may resonate with you. Some things will. And then you pick a collection of the behaviors, the elements of character that feel right to you, and that's where you go to work. So thank you for the question. Let's see who else is here. I love that, Ronald. Thank you for sharing that. Oh, Leanna's in Minnesota, Midwest. Lots of good things happening there right now. All right. So let me just go back. I don't like this slide because it's not correct. But anyway, it's okay. Let's go back to definite purpose. That was week 1. If you do not have a clear, definite purpose that you're compelled to do, that you walk through fear to achieve, it's not the right goal or time. You must be the one. It has to be crystal clear in your mind's eye. And we had Elizabeth 2 weeks ago for a couple of weeks on interactive self-hypnosis on Mondays. And it was all about using the visual image or the screen of your mind. And then you use your imagination, which we're developing, to visualize in full technicolor with smells, all your senses working, what it is you want to accomplish. So definite purpose was the first thing. If you don't have one, don't proceed. But you'll find one. Maybe it's a new banana seat for your bicycle. Think about when you were a kid and what it was you wanted, how much you loved it, and you didn't care. You harangued your parents. Everywhere you looked, you saw it. That's all you thought about it. That's what happened with Frank Gonzalez, because he began to visualize this university, and he did it over and over and over again. And I can actually probably tell you a little bit more about this story. But anyway, let me go back here. That's okay. You like the answer. Yeah, it's okay. You are distracting me, but that's okay. I've done this a zillion times, so I'll make sure you get. Thank you. Distract me. It's all right. It was a good question. Definite purpose. Once you have the definite purpose, then you move into desire, which is the starting point of all achievement. And it's the first principle of success. It's that feeling, that compelling, obsessive feeling where you get up every day, every other day, picturing it in your mind as though it's already happened, picturing yourself on stage speaking to everybody, not in the audience looking at yourself on stage, but in your body looking out into the audience. So they call this standing in the future, in the present. If it's confusing, don't worry about it. Charles will know about this one. So, okay. So then we went from desire. Now all this has to be done in spaced repetitive intervals over time. You have to think about it, think about it, think about it. You don't have to spend all day. Now, then you move into faith. Now we're developing perfect faith in your ability and deservability, because your fears are now telling you, you can't do it. You've never done it before. This is a bad idea. You've been humiliated before. You don't even know where to begin. And who makes you think it's you? How do you think it's you? Why do you think it's you? So faith is the only known antidote to fear. So by doing this over a period of time, visualizing, doing certain tasks every other day, every third day, but with consistency, you begin to develop a deep faith in your ability and deservability. And then when you achieve this thing that you either fail at or you've never done before, that you faced all your fears, you didn't know how, or you knew why because you were the one, but you just were compelled. You have now built faith in your ability and deservability. You've proven it and you've disproven the fear. Now, you can't do it just once, but once you get what you're doing, you're literally using biomimicry, the actual process through repetition that implanted or embedded your fears, having something happen and thinking about it over and over and over again. It embeds into the subconscious. When you think about it, it pops up on the screen of your mind and you go, oh, that was terrible. I've had this when I hydroplaned and had an accident. For a long time, when I was on that same road and the water or the ground was wet, my imagination took me into that hydroplaning again. So our minds are very powerful. Now, the way all of this is embedded into your mind is through autosuggestion, self-suggestion. And that is the repetition, right? So whatever your mind thinks about over and over and over again, the way it makes you feel, that will also be embedded into your subconscious. Unfortunately, our subconscious is filled with very loud, angry fears that have been poking their nose into our minds our whole lives. But we're smarter than that. Okay, so we did faith, autosuggestion. This is it. I think this is it. We say definite purpose, desire, faith, autosuggestion. Here we are, imagination. Okay, so I'm looking at the time. We're going to go until 10:50. Two kinds of imagination. These are the main things that you want to understand about imagination and the distinction. First of all, it's conscious. Imagination, perception, intuition, memory, reason, and will are all conscious faculties. They are mental muscles that grow in direct proportion to their use. That's why we do this in spaced, repetitive intervals over time. It's how we learn, right? Okay. The first one is creative imagination. You're driving along the highway and all of a sudden this wild idea pops into your mind. I don't know, maybe you want to be a cake decorator. You never thought of it before, but you had an idea for some sort of a nifty new way to speed up the process. Maybe you did know cake decorating, but your mother or your grandmother did it, but something popped into your mind and said, oh my God, they're wasting so much time. That's what Gonzalez did. Gonzalez was so annoyed with modern education 100 years ago and the big waste of time that he kept thinking about it over and over again in spaced repetitive intervals, right? And so he built faith in the idea. He visualized it. Visualization is the DNA of manifestation. And I'll be talking about that at 9 a.m. on August 13th on a Zoom with Business Catalyst 360. Actually, it's going to be the manifestation of kindness. Not always kind, but I know how to get there. Okay, so that's creative imagination, an idea out of the blue. Now, immediately what happens is, as soon as you get one of those wild ideas and it piques your interest, in kicks synthetic imagination. Now, those are all your experiences from your wins and your failures, all the things, all the solutions you've come up with. So this is why we don't want to let go of the old things, because that's a resource. We earned that lesson. So immediately it's kind of like a puzzle. You got the idea and you think, oh, I can do this. And you think, I could call this person. I've done something like this. But so you know the first two steps, and that's all you're supposed to know. Never set a goal like this and try to plot out all the steps. That's another whole story in itself as I look at the clock and to make sure that I'm doing well. Let me see who else is here. Lata, so great to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time. Thank you for being here. I hope you're enjoying this. I hope you're all enjoying this. I'm talking as fast as I can, and I want to give you everything I know. Question, is imagination more profound and wide-ranging in the minds of I don't know if it's an unfulfilled man or unfulfilled man than in the minds of satisfied or successful people? Is it more profound and wide-ranging? What I would say, if I looked at it, 𝗙𝗅𝗽𝗏, great question. Because I see it as a muscle that expands and contracts based on how consistent I am with exercising it. And that is recognizing, oh, this is creative imagination. Oh, this is synthetic imagination. So as you understand all this more and more, that muscle grows. So I wouldn't say that it's more profound and wide ranging. I would say, like any muscle, it's stronger. It gets stronger and stronger. Now, why is stronger and stronger important? Well, because it's the muscle that creates visualization, and it's the vibration of your being in the present, in the future, with all your five senses going. It sets your cellular vibration to a very high amplitude. And most of you know, and I've explained this before, and this is how I explain it, there are other explanations. Either you like this and it works for you, or it doesn't. But what you want to understand is that the way we communicate with the universe or God and how we get those things, we're co-creators. We don't do it on our own. We communicate with the universe through our cellular vibration. Mind is an activity. Lots of science have proven this, okay? It is not the brain, and it is not an organ, it is an activity. And if you're thinking something positive, you get goosebumps. And if you're thinking something negative a lot, you'll stub your toe, right? So that shows you that what you're thinking actually affects your physical body. Now, I believe, from everything I've studied over the last 25 years, there's every chance that our co-creator is in our conscious mind at all times, that the whispers we hear, that knowing of what's right against something derogatory about ourselves, the voices of fear are loud and raucous and have a very low vibration. They feel bad. The voice in your conscious mind that whispers to you at night when all the fears are asleep, I believe that is our direct connection to the universe. And the universe decides, based on the law of gestation, exactly when you're going to get that thing that you want. We set a date, but there are 7 universal laws that are the boundaries, and they actually do a lot for us that we're unaware of. And if we knew about them a little more, we would have less anxiety. There's a lot already set up for us. So consider that your intuition is the universe whispering to you. And the sound of that voice is a whisper, where the sound of your fears are, well, you can't do that. You failed at that before. You're too old. You're too fat. What's wrong with you? They don't love you. You're going to get old. You are old. You're going to get sick. You better wear a mask. So whenever we go to do something that we've had those fears embedded over and over and over and over again, we totally have faith in them. So it really takes something. And that's why we have these intellectual faculties: perception, imagination, intuition, memory, reason, and will. Many people add curiosity. Those muscles are what can outweigh and snag, as often as possible. We aspire to do this. Snag the negative thought before we think it or before it comes out of our mouth. And yesterday I had a day where it came out of my mouth. Leah, you were there. So I was telling everybody that I need help. Oh my God. Thank you, Leah. Leah Garcia, she's has Wealthy Wednesdays at 1 o'clock Eastern. And when I hit it big, she's going to be my wealth manager. So I just love her. You got to get, she has Wealthy Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. Okay. All right. Thank you for being here. All right. What time is it? Okay. I told you about Frank Gonzalez. And part of the story is, I'll bring you up to a certain point. So he'd been thinking a long time about how to get this $1 million. He knew it would be $1 million to build this university or this school, which we kind of think is a technical institute, I would say. Learning by doing. And he didn't know how he was going to get the money. $1 million for someone in seminary was a lot. It really was. But what happened is, one Saturday afternoon, I sat in my room thinking of ways and means of raising the money to carry out my plans. For nearly 2 years, I had been thinking, but I had done nothing but think. So here comes action, taking steps. So I made up my mind, he said then and there, that I would get the necessary $1 million within a week. How? I was not concerned about that. The thing of importance was the decision to get the money within a specified time, right? And I want to tell you, he goes on, that the moment I reached a definite decision to get the money within a specified time, a strange feeling of assurance came over me, such that I had never before experienced. Something inside me seemed to say, why didn't you reach that decision a long time ago? The money was waiting for you all the time. And then things started to happen in a hurry. He began working on his sermon, because his sermon that Sunday was going to be his pitch into the universe about this university or this school and everything that he loved about it, and that he was the only one, and he was in deep desire for this thing. Now, he had gone over it a zillion times, and the next morning he got up, got himself ready, and he's standing at the pulpit and realized he doesn't have his notes. It was too late to go back for my notes, and what a blessing that I couldn't go back. Listen to this. Instead, my own subconscious mind yielded the material I needed. Like he had practiced it so many times, he was able to generate it on the fly. When I arose to begin my sermon, I closed my eyes and spoke with all my heart and soul of my dreams. I not only talked to my audience, but I fancy I was talking to God. I told what I would do with the $1 million if that amount were placed in my hands. I described the plan I had in mind for organizing the great educational institution where young people would learn to do practical things and at the same time develop their minds. And I'm going to end it with this paragraph. When I had finished and sat down, a man slowly rose from his seat about 3 rows from the rear and made his way toward the pulpit. I wondered what he was going to do. He came into the pulpit, extended his hand, and said, "Reverend, I liked your sermon. I believe you can do everything you said you would do if you had $1 million. To prove that I believe you, And in your sermon, if you will come to my office tomorrow morning, I will give you the $1 million. My name is Philip D. Armour. That's Armour Industries. Okay, let me see what's next. So that is really, and there's many lessons there. Let me go back because I want to see what comes next. Give me just a second here. Oops, that's the wrong way. Well, goodness gracious, I'm trying. Oh, I know what's going on here. Hold on. Sorry. 1 second here. Okay, I think it's right here. Well, goodness gracious. Why? There we go. Okay. Application of imagination, excerpt from okay. So that was the story. That was the excerpt. Now I want to show you a quick application of imagination. So let me get over there. All right. So what you see here, as I find Leah, so I can shut off her beautiful face for a minute. So this is a practical application of visualization. 23 years ago, when my marriage of 30 years broke up, I was angry, hurt, not having it. I'm a kind of a wild child. I'm aim, fire, and then get ready. So I keep a cool head most times, but sometimes I just can't, and I couldn't. And so I fell in love. I used falling in love to fill the hole, the sadness. And it was probably more like a teenage love, maybe more like a crush. But it made my vibration buzz rather than dragging around. And a friend of mine had met a chocolatier in the mountains of North Carolina. And I got this wild idea. I'm going to open a chocolate company. I went to the mountains 4 hours away and met with the chocolatier, rented a chalet up on a little hill, and the company was born. Every weekend I went from across the state of North Carolina. It took 4 hours. And all I did was visualize errata. It was boring. There were no audio books. I-40 is a straight shot. And so I started to create the background for this book. There was no real story, but because he was there with me and my vibration was buzzing, every week when I got to my office, I sat down quickly at the computer and jotted down the topography, the temperature, how did errata, this place get born. I didn't know what I was going to do with it. It was just a way to pass the time and not be so unhappy. But I had a whole foundation, and 23 years later, after I've done all this studying, I got the idea again. All of a sudden, the idea popped up. Well, now's the time. You can write it now. You can build the story, and it's all about virtues, values, and soul-kissing love. Now, the universe is filled with magic. So I want to show you what can happen. This is why you do not set every step to reach your goal. You are open to people and opportunities that come your way. So let me do this. I gotta remove this for now. Okay, and now I'm gonna, I'll be okay. I'm gonna bring this here. When the audio book came out, my friend Aaron Gibson,
what kind of love can
transcend the words?
Time in a breath and feel as fresh as the sun's morning dew.
So when the audio book came out,
love that lives forever.
Aaron asked me to write a song to go with this.
In between the spaces of yesterday, today, and tomorrow,
which I did.
all at once and forever. Safe among the folds of warm inspiration and obsessive lightness,
and took these few minutes out of a 7.5 minute book promotion prayer, which you have
with vision of a place and space where life is honored and entwined together. Souls connect forever when achieving Irada, the soft space for Lee and Van, star-crossed lovers, a love built on love of life over time and forever. Souls connect forever when achieving Irada, the soft space for Lee and Van, star-crossed lovers, a love built on love of life over time and forever.
All right, let's see if I can get myself back up here. Oh yeah, there I am. Okay. This is so much fun, all these things. Okay. All right, so we're doing well. I hope you loved that. And so look, this was all a dream. And by the way, the girl, there's a 7.5 minute book trailer for promoting it. And we don't know that there is another one that was ever done quite like this. And then when the audio book, which I read and Aaron produced, launched, he made this for that. And that's when he said, write me a song. And that is what he did. So if you have a book or a show, you want a couple minutes of some incredible visioneering, you want to connect with our dear Aaron Gibson, which reminds me, Saturday night at 8 p.m. live, Aaron and 𝗙𝗂𝗏𝗏 Galindo are doing a live, I think it's a Soul Man special. It's the combination of the two of them. They've been friends for several years. So 8 o'clock Saturday night, it'll be fun. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Lata. Next week, decision, mastery of procrastination. So, you know, procrastination is the worst for all of us. It's because you don't have a definite purpose. When you're confused about what you want, you won't know what to do. And if you've plotted out every step, you'll be grappling with the steps that you've outgrown and not even see the people that are on their way to you, that you've actually attracted to help you, but you're too busy with the old plots to get where you want to go. So there's a lot of faith involved in this. And so this is, let's see. Okay, now, are you ready for a visualization? Here we go. Let me make this really big. Okay, now I believe you can hear me. If you cannot hear me, I love this. Imagination is how we bridge the gap between desire and reality. Love it. Yeah, mine too, Adrian. Okay, so tell me if you cannot hear me, and I want us to get ready for our visualization. Okay. So you have to let me know if, okay, it must be good. I'm not seeing anything. Okay. All right, everybody get settled. Now, the purpose of this meditation and visualization is to further develop your conscious muscle of imagination. Close your eyes gently, or you can look at the picture. Let your breathing soften. You are safe and held in this moment. Imagine the sensation of your arrival at the beach and the warm, fine sand beneath your feet. The sun is descending, casting golden hues across the sky and soft reflections on the shallow waves. Wind brushes past your skin, carrying the scent of salt, dune grass, and distant pine. Gentle waves hush onto the shoreline, like the earth is whispering its secrets. Walk slowly along the dunes, noticing each blade of grass swaying like a silent choir. Walk slowly along the dunes. And now we will engage our senses. Pause and sit atop a sandy crest. Envision the sun melting into the horizon, fiery orange, fading into lavender and deep indigo. Imagine shapes and stories forming in the clouds. A lion, a dancer, a staircase into sky, or a staircase to heaven. A gull arcs overhead, catching the last breath of daylight. Feel your imagination rise with the tide, limitless, fluid, shimmering with possibility. Now, expanding your inner vision, picture yourself drawing in this landscape with your mind's eye. Let the shoreline become a canvas for new ideas, a place where creativity dances with serenity. Whisper gently to yourself, I create with ease. I imagine with joy. As the light dims and stars begin to stretch awake, feel your inner world glowing with quiet inspiration. Take one last deep breath. Carry this energy with you. You are the artist of your own mind, ready to shape the unseen. Well, we're at the end here. I'm so glad that Stanley's here, and I have done my best to do this in 50 minutes, but it's looking like 55. So I see Stanley Green is here. I am so glad to see you, Stanley, and I hope you enjoyed the visualization in today's program. This is what we have going for next week, and then I'll come back and sing you out into your beautiful weekend. And take this with you. Remember this. Stand in the future as though you already have the thing you want. It will raise your vibration. So this is for next week. And that completes this week. I hope you loved it. Now go out into the world. Be listening for a creative imagination idea. That is the universe. All ideas are already here. They just need someone to fall in love with them. So they're always flowing to us and through us. So recognize creative imagination and then watch how synthetic imagination, your mind immediately starts fielding all these solutions to you. It's quite magical. It is. I love you all. Thank you so much. I'll be back next week and see you Monday at 10 a.m. Okay, let's sing that again. I love this song. If I loved you, time and again I would try to say, all I want you to know. If I loved you in an easy way, round in circles I'd go, longing to tell you, but afraid and shy. I'd let my golden chances pass me by. Soon you'd leave me, off you would go in the mist of day, never ever to know if I loved you. Thank you, everyone. Love you all. Going off live now. Have a great day.